welcome to the Questionnaires podcast, where each week we source the best questions from Yahoo Answers and attempt to provide the best advice from.
If picking your nose is wrong, why are our fingers proportional to our nostril size?
2.
If a kangaroo was getting out of water, would her pouch get filled up with water?
We're here to prove that every question deserves an answer. Joining with me this week, as always, is Marcus.
Hello, Tom.
And Damien.
Once again, we are divided by screens. We are no longer in person together.
I can't smell you guys anymore. It was such a tease to be able to smell you last week, and now I have to smell you later.
It was short-lived. It was short-lived. It was so bad.
Marcus, you've been through a whole ordeal from what you've told us.
Yeah, yes. Well, so for those who don't know, we are currently in Victoria, so we are in the heavily corona-infested state, if that's what I'm saying.
The suburb I'm in at the moment is basically just like, I'm not in a hotspot, but I may as well be. Like, I am surrounded by hotspots.
You're in a warm spot.
You're
a lukewarm spot is what I'm in at the moment.
That's it. And, well, this week, actually, we had a little bit of a scare, which is why we're doing this via screens. I'll explain the story for you guys. So, at the start of the week, I met up with somebody for maybe like 10, 15 minutes. Turns out that person has corona. So, here I was, fearful for my life, me and my partner. So, we're like, okay.
Look at him playing the victim.
Yeah, nah.
I don't know what to do. Grief-stricken.
Exactly. I mean, I had a little bit of a cough, so I thought, fuck, I might have it. So I thought, me and my partner thought, we'll get tested, and so I had my brain scratched.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about the whole testing thing.
Yeah.
People are calling it the brain scratch. I've seen people, like, stories of people going to get the test, realizing what it entails, and then being like, you know what, I'm good. Is it like, are people being hyperbolic? Is it as bad as it seems?
Look,
or like, what's the go?
It's not fun. I'll explain my experience from like start to finish. I'll try and speed up a little bit. So firstly, getting there in the car, the line, like we went to a shopping center and the line in the roads was massive. Okay, so you're in line in your car driving. It was a drive-through sort of one.
Okay.
And let's just say the people that are pointing you in which direction to go are the worst traffic directors I have ever encountered. And
right.
So you would not want them bringing in a plane when it's coming to landing on a runway.
No way, no. They are horrible, rude. Well, the one of them in particular was very rude, and it's a situation where, all right, we're all getting tested, and their system, I like the system. It was, we're going to put your cars in car spots, like lot A, lot B, lot C, and then we're going to go through the system like that. That's cool.
Okay.
But what they were doing was because there's two directions you can come to get into the car spot. They said to everybody going in one direction, you have to go line up from the other direction. So you go through from the other direction, and they were letting you through but not putting you into the car spot. So you were doing loops for whatever reason. And, like, if the car lot was full, it was like, just do another loop. It's like, go fuck, what the fuck? So I'm losing my place in line because of this. And not only that, they were rude about it. Like, you would ask a question, what's going on? And it's like, just go around back in the loop.
So this is where a lot of things fall apart, is poor line management. And I feel like it can exist anywhere. But in a situation where you're already going to wait a long time, you're nervous about the results, you just want to get it done, I can't imagine anything more frustrating.
Yeah, exactly. It was frustrating, but eventually we got into the car spot and we knew we were going to wait there a while. That's why my partner brought an iPad and we just watched something on Netflix. The whole process took 2.5 hours. So we were waiting in our car for about 2.5 hours from start to finish. Eventually we get it to the point where we're actually getting tested. So you ask whether it's as bad as people are saying, and it's not pleasant. Essentially, they scrape the back of your throat, both tonsils, with the swab. So imagine putting your finger all the way back and scraping that. And then they go up and then she goes, all right, well, now we're just going to do one nostril. So she goes, put your head back. So I put my head back and she puts it up my nostril, gets to a point and realizes, this isn't going to work. Let's go to the other nostril. Now that wasn't that bad. Pulls it out, goes up the other one. And then she keeps going back and I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. And then keeps going. You feel like, when will this end? It ends what feels like the back of your throat.
Right.
Oh, no.
I feel like I thought you were talking about, like, she kept put it in and then pulled it out and then kept going. Like, she was just, like, inserting it and removing it into your nose. And it's just
the
like that suction noise.
The old in out, yeah.
What?
See, my fear is if I do have to eventually get the test is I have a really weak gag reflex. Like when I go to the doctors, I don't even get them to like, you know, they say like say and they put a tongue depressor in your mouth.
Yeah.
I always say to the doctor, no stick. I'll vomit on you. Like, do not give me the stick. I will coat you.
Well, Damien, I hate to tell you this, but you would vomit 100%.
Right.
This is 100%.
Okay.
So what happened was she gets it back there, and then eventually she stops and she pulls her hand away, leaving it in my nose. I'm like, what the fuck? She's doing here? I'll just leave it for like 5 seconds. It's all right. So she left it for maybe like 5 seconds. I thought, all right, I'm waiting. And she's like, okay, I think we're done. So she grabs it and then starts twirling the bud in I think. And at this point, that's when the gagging was happening. I was actually coughing. I was like, oh fuck, I'm coughing.
Oh no.
So I can only imagine. I'm fearful for the person doing it because obviously you're in this situation where if they've got corona, they're coughing directly onto you. Now, granted, they had a face mask, they had all the proper gear. They were, I would imagine, safe, and she's probably held it before, but then eventually pulled it out, and I was like teary-eyed. I was like, whoo, that was not a fun time. But after like 5-10 minutes, you feel fine, and then look, the rest of the day, you feel like your nostrils are really cleaned out. So
on a scale, Mark, because it sounds like it's similar to having spicy food. On a scale of lemon and herb to very hot, what would you put this on the scale as far as a spiciness?
Look, as far as things going in your mouth goes, this is extra hot, all right? I don't think anybody ever puts anything in their mouth or up their nose this far. I don't think you'll ever have to. Maybe if you have like what is it, the gastronomy, like I don't know what they call it. I think that's up the butt, but like, you know, you get the cameras up your butt and
endoscopy.
Yeah, well, not the butt one, the throat one. It might feel like
gastroscopy.
But I'd imagine you'd be asleep for that. This, you're awake, and obviously it doesn't go as far back. But yeah,
the good news is that your test came back negative.
Yes,
we're just negative, we are erring on the side of caution and recording this show from home just in case, because you never know.
You never know.
Exactly.
And that's the best way to do it.
People were probably worried, like, oh my God, is Marcus going to be okay? Is this the end? It's not the end, unfortunately. It's just the beginning. And it's just the beginning of this episode as well of the podcast, which is the questionnaires. And what we do each and every week is we choose questions from the website Yahoo Answers. We try to provide advice to the people asking the questions to help them on their way. That is how the show works. The other thing we do for the show is we name the question askers after a theme, and it's Damien's theme this week.
Yep. And of course, as we all know, that on this day, the day the podcast comes out, tennis player Martina Navratilova won a record 9th Wimbledon title.
I was going to say.
Of course. I took the words from your mouth. But so I wanted to get you guys to name your question askers after a sport that you've had your biggest achievement in.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Okay.
So you might need to rack your brains a little bit, but I can kick things off if you guys want. I'm happy to.
Oh, yeah. I think you should go first, Damien. Yeah.
I think
I'll go
you
first.
Got the
one that came to me is I played soccer a lot when I was younger. I won heaps of indoor soccer titles to the point where like it was like whatever, just throw the trophy in the back of the cupboard. I don't care about that.
Mr. Ronaldo over here. I think
it wasn't me. I had a cousin who was very good and carried our whole team every season. Speaking of that cousin, it actually involves him, my biggest sporting achievement.
Right.
Even though I'm older than him, he was much bigger than me, and we used to do karate together, but we actually competed. So we used to like go to fights and fight other people, right? This is when I was like 8, okay? So it was a long time ago.
Right.
But we happened to meet each other in the final fight, and that was like, I was
That's
like,
a big achievement.
It's time to prove it. Everyone makes fun of me for being small. Time to take down my little big cousin, like, you know. And
Pee-wee's time to
shine. It was a heated fight. At one point, I accidentally kicked him in the head, and they had to break up the fight and review if I was disqualified.
How did they review?
So it was weird. Like, they told me to, like, so when I kicked him in the head, they said, okay, what happens is when I was doing karate anyway, if you do something that's kind of like out of line during the fight, they get you to like go on your knees, face the other way, and I had to recite like my dojo's mantra, like whatever it was, like our ethics.
And if you recite it wrong, that's it.
Yeah, so they chopped my head off. Yeah. So, like, while I was doing that, they like had a quick discussion at the judges' table. It's so weird to think like they were taking an 8-year-old fight this seriously.
They're like, it's like you're tearing up, going, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name." Like praying to your dojo god.
I'm like, dear Bruce Lee.
You're like, please let Mr. Miyagi let me pass. I like it. They're probably sitting at the table going, should we let this keep going? Like, he really kicked him in the head. I can see tears out of both their eyes. It's like, yeah, it's pretty fun. Let's keep it going. Let it roll.
Well, they did let it roll, and I went on to roll my cousin, and I won the trophy.
Yes.
And then the sad part of this story is we met like 3 more times later, and my cousin destroyed me every other time.
Wipe the floor with you.
He was like, I'm never going to lose again.
Exactly. So this is going to come from Karate. And speaking of test, Karate writes in, my boyfriend has been treating me differently since he got his ancestry DNA results back.
Oh.
Okay.
His results were nothing special, but he did find out his great times 10 grandfather was linked to a royal lineage. He was so happy he told every single person he knows and even posted on Facebook about it. I was happy for him until he started doing things that are making me unsure about our relationship. Number 1, he quit his job, accountant, which was something we hadn't discussed. When asked, he said he doesn't believe the 9-to-5 life is right for him anymore. Number 2, he has started insisting we use condoms when we have sex. We've been together 3 years and my birth control has never been an issue until now. He's also started making comments implying that I want his bloodline. Number 3, he won't kiss or touch me in public anymore, but is fine with it when we're alone. And number 4, he has requested that I also look into my family history. But since I refused, he has made jokes that I must be scared to find out that my family don't match up to his. I'm really confused as to what's going on, and I could use some advice. Karate.
Number 5, he drinks his tea with his pinky up. I don't
That's
get
the worst
it.
one. That is the worst one.
That is the worst.
Well, so this is basically like he's become an elitist or a classist, but it's just something that he's recently found out, which is really strange because it sounds like it's a quality that he would probably possess prior by being like, do I earn more than you? Are your family richer than or poorer than my family? Should I be involved with you? But he's just sort of come out from ancestry 10 times removed.
Yeah. And the thing I love about this question is that this guy is doing seriously what we do as a joke. Like we always joke about our peasants and our royal bloodline and how we're better than our listeners. But like this is a lifestyle for this guy. He is like, no, absolutely. My family lineage stems from Henry the Great, therefore I am great. But in reality, it's like he's Henry the not so great. Like he's not that good.
I love it how he goes like, I can't do a 9-to-5 job. But what can you do there, man? Like you don't have the king's wealth. The king's riches aren't yours, man.
Yeah, he's not inheriting anything.
No.
I like to think he started talking in like hear ye old-timey fashion as well, and he's like, you wish to have the royal seed implanted in you? Like he's just like suddenly just changed persona. He wears a cape and like has a scepter and a crown everywhere he goes.
I like he's just like, it's like I'm gonna wear this condom, man. I do not want my seed spread. Like that's overboard. Like, all right, quit your job. That's something like, oh man, I don't like this guy. I like Karate. I don't like Karate's boyfriend.
The thing he's failing to realize is like back then, kings were basically had carte blanche to have sex with everybody, like their wives and commoners. So it's very rare. Like his lineage is probably stemming from just like a peasant family or something. It's just because the kings got around that he kind of has a little bit of blue blood in him. When in reality, like if you ran another DNA test for him, it would turn out he's 100% a shit person. He's got brown blood. He's a horrible person.
He's in my blood.
Do we know it was a king or just someone in the royal family? Maybe it was like the king's like idiotic brother who was like third removed, who was like shunned from the family, and then that's him. That's his lineage. Like he doesn't even know that.
It's a really strange situation because I feel like for him to do the test and probably think he's in a certain position of the relationship, he might be like, I'm the reacher. She's better than me. She's settling for me. But then he's gotten these test results. He's like, wait a second. I'm the settler and she's the reacher because I'm better than her. I'm leaving this. I'm going to make this girl work for it now. Suddenly he's just like, the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Either that or he's found out that they're related and he's just like, I don't know how to bring this up to her now.
Yeah. Well, most royalty aren't they? Aren't they mostly inbred down the line somewhere?
They are real inbred, crazy inbred.
Right.
And speaking of,
Inbred?
family. Yes, speaking of bread. No.
What's your favourite role?
Speaking of ancestry and the whole incestuous nature, and what our ancestors got up to in the past, there is actually something I wanted to broach by you guys, and I'm going to broach it to you in the fashion of a brand new show.
Oh.
Welcome to your great aunt's favourite show. This is your past life. The show where we do some DNA digging to find